Hello, it's day 15. It's been a while because I decided I had to take a little bit of hiatus, but I decided it was okay because I'd rather give you something of quality than like rushing and just giving you quick, you know, sometimes like too short, maybe not too much meaning to it. So, anyways, this is day 15 of my videos. So, I just want to preempt this with I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a psychologist or motivational speaker. I just like people, and if I can encourage someone to change their life by changing the way they think or their mindset, I've accomplished one of my missions that I feel that I have in life. Um, and so I just decided that I would just put it out there. Anyone who watches this video, hopefully this encourages you. And that is just one of my goals, right? So let me just start off. I like to start off with stories because I think that's anyway. Let me just go ahead and get started. All right. So this story is about myself. Now, about almost 3 years ago now, I was in a car accident where I was on my way to work and my brakes went out on my car and I flipped my car. And I'm blessed that, I didn't get any like glass, shards or anything like that. Actually, as far as I know, none of the windows in there or anything were shattered, so I didn't cut with glass or anything. But what did happen was I injured my neck really bad back here. And all I know is that I woke up in the hospital and I had some pain in my neck. Um, so apparently I had injured from C4 to C7, um, and which they kept telling me in the hospital was the injury kind of similar to what Christopher Reeves, the guy that played Superman some years ago, I think in the 70s, or early 80s or something like that. Um, how he injured himself and he was fully paralyzed. Um, so basically, what happened was they had to replace a couple of discs. They had to fuse my vertebrae. They had to put a titanium cage around it. When I woke up in the hospital, you know what? The only thing I thought about was to go home, right? I could have just immediately given up because they had the thing around my neck and all this kind of stuff, and I could have gave up and just said, "Well, I'll just go with it," and probably could have like in the psychological way could have just made myself paralyzed, but I never saw myself paralyzed. I always focused on me going home and being, with my family and stuff. Now, one thing that happened while I was there is that they kept reminding me how I could be paralyzed. Because they're checking on you, they're doing their job, and every few minutes they be like, "Do you feel any tingling? Are you hurting? Don't move too much." Blah blah blah. Blah blah. Just kind of reinforcing, but I ignored all that. You know. Um, And I just kept saying, okay, so when can I go home? Well, of course, I had to wait until an operation had to be over. After that operation, then I was like, okay, so when can I go home? Had other couple of difficulties with my blood pressure, but all I saw was me walking out of the hospital, going home to be with my family. Um, and probably I got home, well, I took about 11 days, but probably got home as soon as I did because that's all I saw was going home. I was even crazy enough where someone did pick me up from the hospital. I didn't drive or anything. Uh, and I even was crazy enough to go get my own prescriptions. And I probably shouldn't have been, but I was wobbly and everything. But I went into the drugstore and got prescriptions because I was like, I'm not going to depend on anybody. That's probably kind of bad in a way, but that's how determined I was, right? And now it's 3 years later, You know, I mean, I'm gonna say I was injured, so not everything is just peaches and cream, but I am very happy. I go to the gym all the time. You know, I'm running. You know, I can move my neck, maybe not as freely as it used to be, but I can move my neck. So I'm very happy about that. And my goal was to make it home. And I was so happy when I got home. I just sat on my couch for a while and just enjoyed the view. Okay. I'm always I'm comparing everything to like our businesses. You know, you have the people reminding you maybe they don't mean the bad thing to be a discouragement to you. You know, oh, that internet marketing stuff, that's just, you know, multi-level crookery kind of stuff, you know, or whatever. Yeah, you'll never make money at that. Those kind of things. You got to ignore all that. You got to focus on your goals. And then when you talk about your goals, the question I have, it's something that I had to deal with myself. Is why do some of us not set our goals very high? You know, why do we, you know, say, oh, you know what, I'll get the house, I'll get the job, you know, and maybe I'll even finish college, you know, but that's about it. I've accomplished, you know, or whatever, which is generally what most people want to do. You know, that's what I wanted to do. That was my goal. And I mean, actually, I didn't finish college, but I did get a house and a family and all that. But why couldn't I have aimed higher? Why couldn't I have said, oh, I want 10 houses, or my goal is to make $1 million a year rather than, you know, $75,000 a year. You know, because sometimes if we aim at a certain level, maybe we won't reach that level, but we'll get closer than if we aim lower. You know what I mean? So if you let's say you aim for $75,000 a year, maybe you'll get up to 60 or 65, maybe you hit to 75. You know, but at least you're reaching there. But what if you had made it 100 or 150,000 or $200,000 a year? How far would you have gone? How far would you have pushed yourself to get there? Right? So some of us will say, well, you know what? I grew up poor, so I mean, you know, so saying $100,000 a year is not easy for me to comprehend, right? Or I grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, or I'm not smart enough, or I don't have enough education. Or some of us just like where we are, you know. Some of us just like the struggle, the grind. You might. If that's your cup of tea, you go ahead, right? Well, you know, me personally, I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood. You know, I could have easily been in a gang or something like that. I was just lucky enough not to be a casualty of my environment. Then sometimes we'll tell ourselves, oh, I could never have that car, that BMW, that Mercedes. You know, and it's not, material things is not everything that you want, but we think about those things when we're growing up, little kids or whatever. You know, I want that big, you know, 2-story house with the big columns in the front on the porch and all that. I want to be famous like, you know, Beyonce or Jay-Z or whoever. You know, whoever you might look at, whatever. We all see people on TV. You know, just think of who you might have thought about when you were a kid. You know, we could just go on and on what you can't have and blah, 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 blah. Well, these are thoughts and experiences that cause us to limit ourselves in what we can accomplish. I will admit that it's not always easy to fight against some of our thoughts. And some people might have more thoughts than other people. So, you know, we're all in different places. We're all individuals. We all have different things that we need to tackle. The promising thing about this whole mind thing and how we think and our perspective is that we can change it. We can replace it with other things that will help us to grow as people, to help us to grow as our vision of ourselves and what we can accomplish. Let me just give you an example. All right. So one old thing that you could say, let's say I thought, okay, you know what? My old thing, I need to have a 9-to-5 job to make the money I want to make. Well, I could change that and say, money comes easily and quickly. which means I might not have to have a traditional 9 to 5 job, and it comes quickly and easier, more proficiently rather. You know, I mean, it's almost like, let's say you're running a mile, or how would you say? Let's say if I take a 12-inch step, right, every time I walk, it's going to take me a longer time than if I was taking, you know, a yard. You know, so a 12-inch stride is about like that. Yard stride is like that. If my stride is that longer, with the same number of steps, I'm going to get way farther. I don't know if that makes sense. All right, so if I'm doing like this, but I don't know how to say it. If I'm doing like these little bitty steps, but then I change them to this, I'm getting farther with less effort. So hopefully, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Hopefully I'm not going off on a tangent. So let me give you one exercise about changing. Oh, also let me give you another example. With myself, and I'm just giving an example with how I'm changing myself. I'm in the middle of changing myself, right? Well, I'm changing myself until the day I die. I'm telling you that, okay? So I have a business card in my wallet right now that states how much money I want to earn by a certain date. I also have it in my phone, and it texts me 3 times a day. I say it to myself whenever I view it. When I first did this, it was even hard to say it, okay? It was like, could I really make that kind of money? The more I say it, the easier it gets. The more I say it, the easier it gets, the more I believe it, and the more I know that I can reach that goal, okay? So I'm not talking about how I get there or whatever, what path I take to get there, you know, because you just have to know that's where I want to get. Just like when I told you about me being in the hospital, I wanted to get home and be in my, you know, in my house and not in a cold hospital with bad food, okay? So we must see the goal that we want to reach, and I said this in the previous video, but I'm saying it again because this is, you know, this will just help. Anyway, it just helps me, okay? And I'm just sharing. And the more I see what my goal is, just the more I believe it. When I couldn't fathom it, I couldn't think about it in like a real sense, that has changed, okay? That has changed. Let me give you one exercise, another exercise of how to change how you think about what you can accomplish in your life. Okay, so all the ideas, or let's say limiting thoughts that you might have now, you need to write them down. Okay, you need to say, like I said, I need to have 9 to 5 job to make, you know, $60,000 a year or whatever. You know, I can't get a good job because I don't have enough education, or I can't buy that car because I don't have enough money. I can't, I can't go out a date with that girl or that guy because I'm not, you know, sophisticated enough, or, you know, those kind of things that you think about, all right? You write all those out. Don't even read them out loud. Just fold the paper over, get another piece of paper. On that paper, before you even start, don't limit what you write. Forget about limitations. Forget about where you are. Forget about what people think. If you have to do it, go in the bathroom. Whatever you have to do. Write out what you want your new thoughts to be. I will make $2 million in the next 2 years. Maybe it sounds crazy. Doesn't really matter. Write it down. I will have a 5-bedroom house in 2 years. I will marry this person. You know, or just just don't limit yourself. Where do you want to live? What kind of vehicles do you want? What kind of relationships do you want? What kind of example you want to be to your children or to others that you meet? Write them all down. Then when you write them down, read them every day, in the morning, at night, even if you want to, in the middle of the day, post them up in your house, whatever. Just do it for 30 days. And just observe the way you feel when you get to the end of it. But when you read it, don't read it like, I'm going to have $1 million. You can't be like Mr. Monotone, okay? You must have some enthusiasm. And this is what's going to change the way you think. And these things that are the way you think are not what you think. They're not at the front of your mind. They're not the conscious mind or what we call the intellectual mind. They are in your subconscious. They are the things that you can't control, what goes in there. It takes in everything. But if you send it the right things, it'll change your life. Because it'll start you subconsciously looking for those things to get you where you want to go. Okay? I'm going to share more of my life on these videos. Some people might say, oh, you shouldn't do that. But people need to know, that we all go through life. But life can either be very negative and rough, or you can enjoy life, at least while you're here. Our life is not that long, at least physically, our life is not that long. So we might as well have a good time while we're here, right? I told my sister one day, and I'm going to stop this video soon because I'm already at 17 minutes, and hopefully I can upload it. But I told her, I made a choice to be happy no matter what the situation is. I made a choice to be happy. Maybe I don't have all the money, maybe I don't have all the cars, or all this other stuff that I want yet. But I already see them coming, or I already see them. I already see me driving them. I already see me walking up to them. I already see me helping people. There's different things I wanted to do to help people. And when I help people, oh my God, I feel great when I do that, all right? So anyway, I'm going to shut up. Hopefully this helps somebody. And one of the ways I'm trying to get where I'm going is, being an online marketing person. And so if you want to, you can click below this video and see what I'm working with, and we can work together and we can have a lot of fun. So take a look. It's free to it's free to sign up. It's free to take a look inside. Then you can go from there, okay? All right, so have a great day or night wherever you may be in the world, and I will talk to you later. Bye.